All right, I'll call the meeting, this local emergency planning committee meeting to quorum here. Let's start with the roll call and make sure we have everybody. Scott, I've got you marked down here now. Yeah, we made quorum. So first up on the agenda, I'd like to introduce our newest member, and that's Jeff Griffin. Welcome to the local emergency planning committee.
Thank you.
You've already been volunteered for a lot of different activities.
I see that.
So,
It's my welcoming committee.
yeah, you want to, as everybody know Jeff pretty well, do you want to introduce yourself?
Jeff Griffin, Sheriff's Department for 17 years, Motorola products for 17 years, and EMA now, and working for the city a little bit, working for the county a little bit, working for Franklin County Sheriff a little bit. So, staying busy.
Yes, you are. Glad to have you on. All right, moving on to our second item on our agenda is the approval of the January 23 meeting minutes. Did everybody receive those in their packet? Anybody have any additions or corrections to it?
Motion to accept.
I'll second. Oh, go ahead.
You guys, since we don't have a good secretary, you have to bear with me, so I'm writing this down. Ron, you second.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Our next item is our fiscal report. Our treasurer is out. Did everybody receive the budget in their meeting packet? This just got set up last month. Had to go through the process of going through the council and everything. We don't have a lot of money. We have a little bit in the equipment line. I do expect to get more money later on this year from the state. But does anybody have any questions about it or?
Is that city council or county council?
County.
Or both?
County.
County council? Okay.
We actually control the budget, but anything that I do, I have to go through the county according to our auditor.
Okay.
So. Anybody have anything for the budget? For the report? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the fiscal report.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Moving on to old business, our LEPC exercise date, last meeting, we set it at October 9th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 1400. I've been working on developing that exercise, but I'm the only one working on it right now. I need some help with it. I sent it out to Scott. Haven't got a response from him yet on if he's going to help with the exercise. We want to include St. Gabriel's into this exercise this year. And then in your meeting packets, I put in a PowerPoint that I've started building. It's a template that we just need to go in and fill in the information for our county and how we're going to respond to that. I picked, believe chlorine because it's a EHS substance, highly hazardous, and another train incident, but instead of it being at 10th and Eastern, it's going to be two separate locations. There's going to be a head-on collision right over Western Avenue with two engines, and it's causing issues on the Eastern Avenue side as well.
If we're including St. Gabriel's, should we include Baptist Temple?
Not at this time. I just want to keep it a little bit smaller. We want to step up from doing actual just a tabletop discussion and actually start putting some actions behind it. So we need to to fill this out and see where it's gonna go and try to do a little bit deeper of an exercise, but not quite full-scale exercise. Crawl, walk, run kind of mentality. So, if anybody would like to make a motion to nominate any of the people that's missing tonight, we can.
All of them.
But I do need help. I can't be the only one doing this, you know. It needs your input and your buy-in into it as well, so. Any questions on that?
What kind of help do you need?
Help creating the documents. I have all the templates, the SIT man, their situation manual, all the guidance documents on, you know, kind of grading the exercise. But we're gonna need players, we're also gonna need, you know, facilitators. And it really will probably need to dive more into department personnel as well, including some of your, you know, your officers and firefighters, things like that. And I'm fine if they want to kick in and you guys reach out to them, and if they want to help, send them my way.
Well, I mean, as far as being involved in the actual incident that day, there's no issues there. I
Right.
guess it's the stuff before, you were talking about documents and stuff.
So like facilitators, they're the ones that would be telling the players, you know, hey, you're here, this is kind of what you've got,
Right.
kind of thing.
Couldn't we get the state to provide something of that nature?
We have to provide it to the state, the training.
Well, but I mean, as far as facilitators, because as far as I'm concerned, I would rather have an outside agency looking at and Scott,
We can-
my people and say, hey, you know, this is what's right, this is what's wrong, you know, to try to get better. I mean, not that we would sway, you know, if somebody's doing something wrong, not that we would sway that, but I would think the state would want to be a monitor, so to
So-
speak.
Facilitators and evaluators are two different.
Yeah.
So the evaluator, we've always had somebody from Richmond's Emergency Management come and
Oh,
evaluate
okay.
the exercise, and their
Okay.
document is what gets sent up to the state. The facilitators are players, but they're on the opposite side of the play, right?
They're
of the
providing
exercise.
input as to
Right.
what's
It's
happening.
like, you know, this person's laying on the
detail.
ground and he's bleeding out, and, you know, what do you do?
Okay.
Kind of thing. That's why I thought if we could use some of our firefighters and law enforcement officers to
They
do
can play
that.
devil's advocate.
Right.
Well, because I went to a shooting exercise once where they just had a little placard card taped to their lapel or somewhere by them, and that's when they got up on the scene. That's their information that they got.
We can go that direction. I'm not opposed to it.
So,
I just, like I said, I need help building this exercise. I can't
Yeah.
be the only one building it.
Well,
Because
I mean,
it's gonna be one-sided.
right. Well, I'll help you as much as I can.
Yeah. All right. Any other further discussion on that? All right, moving on to updates on the commodity flow study. So Resilient Strategies came in for 2 days. They monitored Vine Street right there at State Road 1. They monitored Grand Avenue over there by CVS. And then north, they went up close to the factories that are up there and sat and monitored for several hours on what was coming in. We also received a flow study from CSX to let us know what they're carrying. I actually have a copy of it here if anybody'd like to look at it. There's things on there that I had no idea was coming through
I'd like to see it,
a real
just to see.
way.
You have it electronically.
Yeah, I do have it, but it's classified document because it's proprietary. They won't let it out, so
Oh.
I have to give you a paper copy
Oh.
instead of sending it through email.
I'd like to have a
That's
copy.
safer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the stuff that goes through there, yeah, I don't want to take a chance and send it electronically.
Well, I
and
was
it go-
I was told the same thing after we had that CSX training. He'd sent me a copy and told me I could show it to people, but I couldn't send it to nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised when you read what flows through our county and city through.
Nothing goes from point A to point B on the railroad. It goes through a spaghetti bowl all over the country, getting from A to B.
So that's where we are. I'm still waiting on Resilient Strategy to send me the actual, the flow study on it.
You know,
They're
something else
com-
we haven't really talked about either is, even though it's not gonna be considered hazmat, but that north-south rail's gonna start getting used here real soon too.
Plastic.
Western.
Yeah. So that'll be something we need to
Something we
include.
haven't seen for a long, long time.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
Since
all cleaned out already.
Since the windmills,
Well, with Nova
Well, that
Chemicals,
was a kind of a, yeah.
it was a short-lived thing.
Once- Yeah, but I'm talking consistent,
Regular use.
yeah.
Is there any at all hazards of the pellets they'll be moving?
I mean, it's all dry goods. I mean, the pellets, there's no,
They don't create static electricity or anything?
not that I'm aware of.
well, every train's or rail cars are hazardous materials because of the fuel and the engines and
Right, but as
and
far
things
as the
like that.
material,
But, right,
the
material.
being hauled, stored,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. They're just cut, just little round plastic pellets.
Have you had a chance to go through Nova yet?
Mm-hmm.
How was it?
That's very nice, yeah.
Very clean.
Yeah, I mean, we could do a tour, anybody that wants to go through there and check it out. I mean,
I
it's,
was just curious.
yes. I mean, they have their own, basically their own small treatment facility for the water they use, the water that goes back out. They treat it before it even goes back out into the wastewater. And it, basically all it's used for is to clean, you know, the pellets or the plastic that goes through. It's a really nice setup. Yeah, it's all, and the majority of it's automated. It's pretty neat, yeah.
Yeah, I want to go up. I've actually started reaching out to them.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
We can probably, I can get a hold of them and we can, if just this committee wants to get together and go through there, yeah, they
Okay.
won't have any problem with that.
I'd like to see it.
Okay. I'll work on that.
All right. So with the commodity flow study, I'm just waiting on them to send me the paperwork to finalize it. We did send out the second payment for that, once they completed their part of coming to town and looking at all that. Luckily, he brought 2 people with him, so we didn't have to use any of our people to go out and observe, so I appreciate him for that anyway.
When you do the exercise, are you going to then consider the commodities that flow through?
Yes.
So I don't know how proprietary that is, if you can do that.
Well, chlorine's pretty,
That's a pretty good idea.
yeah, and that's a typical hazard.
Chlorine's a gas though, normally. It's gonna spread pretty fast
Yes.
and escape pretty fast. So you'll need to run the software to find out where to.
Plume is,
evacuate
and yeah, so
Where's
I'm-
our,
Place. and
What's our communication
Let's have the wind
protocol for
blowing
that?
north that day.
He's already got it blowing east to
Well,
west,
you'll have to evacuate.
west to east. He's
So what's our protocol?
got it blowing
we'll
right
have
past the school.
to build a communications plan. Is it ICS 205 form, incident command form,
Yeah,
so we'll build the plan out,
we're in a-
and that's what everybody
We're in a
will
sprint
use,
with
so.
chlorine, it's nasty.
I think what he's saying is he just volunteered.
Oh,
Well, I mean, if we've got an evacuation that needs to go out into the public, that needs to do that.
Absolutely.
yeah, right, well,
So I
yeah,
need to know
that,
how that
you will
would
be
work.
definitely included in that
There'll be a zone
communication.
for shelter in place, keep your
That's
windows
for
closed. There'll be a
anything, not
zone to get out of
even
Dodge.
more than exercise, so.
And hopefully it's not raining.
Well,
It's a clear day. You gave us that.
right,
It's lighter than air, so it's,
so,
I'm
and
just thinking
it's
through it
a,
already.
it's a pretty dramatic leak
That's why we
too.
have you, Ron.
It's ugly.
Yeah.
So-
You're gonna be point.
No, I'll just be advice.
So, on our The third item under old business is exercise committee, so I'll try to set up a meeting, Jeff, with me and you, and try to get John involved for the PIO portion of it, and get stuff started rolling down that pathway, so. All right,
Can we all, like, you were wanting help, and, you know, obviously John's expert on the communication side. Do you want like one person from each specialty to kind of help with their report? So like me being medical, do you want that, or?
yes, so when it comes to health and emergency medical situations, you and also working with Matt Schreck on the health side of it, Scott with his
Yeah.
firefighters, you know,
I
law
meant from the
enforcement as
planning
well.
stage of it.
Yeah,
To
so
help
when
you,
we
Jeff.
get into
Yeah.
that portion, that's where we need to sit down individually and say, all right, this is what we've got.
Yeah.
How is your responders gonna do this, so.
It's heavier than air.
Yeah, heavier.
That's gonna be ugly.
Yeah. And we have to have an EHS substance that's part of the SARA Title II laws that we have to use that kind of chemicals, so. All right, moving on, item 4, tower repairs, they are completed. I have the bill that he sent me, it was, I wanna say $760. Let me double check and make sure.
It is.
Yeah, so, I went ahead and paid for that out of the EMA budget. So hopefully I could garner some goodwill from you guys on some of this.
I mean, I don't have any issue still.
Oh, I know,
split it
but-
up. I mean,
How do we do that?
yeah, I mean,
It was only 3 antennas, and I asked him to just tell us what antennas went where, and he couldn't figure it out. We've got that marking, but he doesn't think that that's actually, that list is right in that shed.
well, I don't know if you've had any other feedback since then, but I've heard some VHF radio traffic from other departments. And I thought it was not very good. So I don't know if there's maybe still some issues with them.
It could be.
I know he went up there and fixed all the visible issues.
Right.
Them laying over and everything, but
Those
Well,
antennas.
Well, there was also discussion about the cables need
Yeah,
replaced.
right.
I mean, there needs to be some preventative maintenance done. This was a Band-Aid attempt at fixing what was
yeah,
wrong.
Right.
I don't remember what day, I think I was in town and I just happened to be, there was an incident somewhere, so I was scanning on my VHF and some of the county departments, I mean, you could barely hear them. So
Well, part of that is
still antenna issues maybe or what?
Rittberger, Bentonville was having issues with their antennas at their site. Not this one, it was theirs. They actually had to replace, I think, their antenna, which I think is affecting communication from them and Glenwood out there. The VHF, every antenna on that tower right up here on Michigan that needs refreshed. They need new cables, new connections, everything, so, and that's gonna be a little more pricey. But we still need them. They're our backup and we have to have them, so.
That was like,
Well,
what,
that can be done on
60,000 or
I
something?
mean, that can be done on a departmental basis. You know,
Right.
if I decide that I wanna repair all my stuff, I can contact him.
Right.
You know, and he can go just fix my stuff. I mean, obviously, it'd be convenient for, you know, everybody to get together and do it
Yeah.
maybe all at one time,
Yeah,
but, you know,
right.
but like I'm saying, I still don't see a reason why we can't help you out with the cost of that. I mean,
It was simpler. The last time I tried to split a bill between departments, the auditor didn't care for it, so.
So how would we do that? Do you want
You would have to invoice.
a donation back to EMA for?
I'm not that worried about it.
I'm just trying to figure out the logistics of this.
I'm pretty sure the county likes the sound of money coming in.
Oh, yeah.
From what I see on meetings.
Right. Well, one thing that I am working on is, and it's kind of separate from LAPC, but I'm getting the automated integration for our civic alerts. So instead of every time something happens to me, I have to run to a computer, copy it from National Weather Service, paste it in Civic, and send out alerts that way. The automated integration will do that without human intervention, where that's any kind of alert, you know. It could be hazmat related. But part of me getting approval through the commissioners to do that, they asked that I talk to the city and see if they would be willing to pay for half of that. And I think their half would be like $350. So,
I think you probably.
so that's kind of what I figured we'd work out, kind of getting the city to pay for that along with the part I'm paying for the county. It would just sure make life easier on everybody. So,
So could our portion be what we owe you for the tower repair?
could be,
Okay.
so. All right. So they're completed. You introduced me to that guy at 1830, right? That dude was amazing, and he's already set up with SBA.
He was already familiar, I just happened to run into this guy, I actually bought a tractor off of him like a month ago. And it was, yeah, he said that he had a business and worked on towers, and I said, that's interesting. I said, we've got some repairs we need done on a tower. And when I told him what tower it was, he says, I go up there and inspect that every year, so I
Yeah,
gave his information to him.
Yeah.
And he went up there and fixed the issues that we had that were visible,
Right.
with the antennas we had up there.
Well, the-
Not, like I said, there still may be some issues here and there, maybe some upgrades that need to be done, I don't know,
Right.
but at least, you know, the issues with them falling, you know, breaking and falling over
Right.
have been fixed.
And that bill went from 3,000 down to $760. That's a huge,
Right.
huge advantage.
It went
for
from
us.
3,000 to 60,000 to 760.
Yeah, you're right, it did.
Yeah.
So, we're very fortunate. I was glad that was just in
Yeah,
time
I
too.
would keep his
Yeah.
contact information.
Yeah, I've got it, yeah. He's a good dude too. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't hurt us by doing that at
Yeah.
all. So, all right. That's all I have on item 4. Is there anything else on that? Any new business? No new business? Our next meeting's May 25th, 2025, at 2 PM in this chambers.
May 25th or May 22nd?
Second, I'm sorry, did I say 25th? I was looking at 2025 when I said that. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.